This is the second part of the tutorial on the rules of line, where we see how these rules apply to an actual model. So to save time, I've already built the armature. Hopefully it's clear and you guys can see it. This is a very convoluted pose, as you can see. When you have a complicated pose, take a lot of time with your initial construction, make sure everything's right, because this is really the last stage where corrections become really easy, where you can move things around. So this wasn't an easy pose. I had to move things considerably. I made a few corrections, but now I think the pose is more or less there, which allows me to focus exclusively on getting the line quality right. Alright, so a few things I'm going to do. We have a light source that's coming from here. So generally speaking, the line quality on the shadow side is going to be considerably darker. And then we have degrees of depth. So we have this form, which is closest to us. The legs going back in space. I'm going to adjust the line quality, making it thinner and thinner and thinner. Probably thinnest here because this arm is furthest away. And then I'm going to try to define soft versus hard forms. Let's give this a shot. Take your time. This is not easy. But this is something that little by little will improve as you practice. Alright, we can start anywhere really. I'm going to start off with the pec inserting itself into the humerus. I'm going to keep this line light. Again, we're thinking about always turning our forms out, and then, really important, paying attention to what is overlapping what. So this is going this way, and then I notice that the breast is coming out this way, like this. Then it goes in, and then here we have the other breast going down. I'm going to make that line a little bit lighter, fade out my line as it inserts behind, as it goes behind the breast. This line is going to be even lighter than this one. So this goes down, and I'm going to fade that out like this. Okay, guys, keep in mind, any detail on the inside of the form, do not put a line there. So we have the thoracic arch opening, we have a separation between the breast and the rib cage. Don't put a line there, put a soft edge. Alright, so here we have a little bit of abdomen going this way, like this. And then we have the hip. Her body is gently coming towards us, so the line here needs to be a little bit darker to represent the fact that it's closer to us. This goes in, and now the leg starts going back in space. So we have a curve going this way, and then little by little I'm going to make the line here a lot lighter, though here we have kneecap, so I can make the line a little bit sharper. Going down this way. Alright, so here we have a series of what looks to be like a concavity, but actually is a series of convexities. Going in, and little by little, getting closer. Here we have the gluteal fold. I'm not going to put a sharp line there. I'm going to keep it a little bit softer. Make the line here a little bit darker. And then here I'm going to make the line increasingly faint. Increasingly faint because the leg here is getting further and further away, though here we're hitting an ankle bone. Here we have the calf. This part of the leg is in shadow, so I'm going to make the line a little bit darker. A little bit darker here. Here we're hitting some hard surfaces, the heel. Hopefully you guys can see this. I really hope. Okay, and I'm going to go a little bit off my armature here because I noticed that this goes down like this. Okay, so let's keep going. Here the leg is partially in shadow. Goes in. And then little by little here I'm going to make the lines a little bit stronger. A little bit stronger here. This part, by the way, is in shadow, so I'm going to make the line quality here a little bit stronger. A little bit stronger. In the shorter drawings, I'm probably going to be less accurate with my line quality, but in a drawing like this, where I have a little bit more time, I can slow down. I'm going to try to be spot on as much as possible. That said, I'm probably hitting the rules of line at maybe about 75%, maybe less depending on the day. Okay, let's go to the other side. Let's start up here. Okay, so on this side, the form is going back slightly and most of it's in shadow. Again, try to engage your entire shoulder. I'm using most of my arm. I'm at my desk, which is not ideal, but I can still do it. This goes in, and then we have the deltoid sitting on top of the shoulder blade. It needs to come out a little bit. This goes in, and then we have the rib cage here. And I'm going to make the line heavier here because we're dealing with the shadow side of the form. And then going this way, I'm going to make the line increasingly darker, thicker, stronger. This goes in, the glute comes out. Thicker line, and then this glute goes underneath this one. I'm going to fade the line out, and here make the line quality a little bit thicker, a little bit stronger. What else? Well, let's take a look at this arm. This arm is the furthest thing away. Make the lines really faint. Even lighter here. By the way, guys, sometimes you don't need lines at all. There might be places where really you don't need a line quality. You'll see this in Rubens quite often, where the line disappears. The fact is, the line is only part of what makes the forms read. We also have value. So don't feel like you need to finish the drawing in the line stage. We still have the value stage to finish the drawing. And quite often when there's places where there's no line at all, it gives the drawing a more atmospheric, a more spontaneous effect. So again, don't try to seal off the drawing, vary your line. Most importantly, keep your line quality from being monotonous. Keep it from being really dry and repetitive. If I see a shadow, I'm going to make the line quality a little bit thicker. So again, it's that variation between thick, thin, hard, soft, that makes the drawing really exciting. Let's see, what else? Okay, so I notice that here the breast is in light and here it goes into shadow. And that's going to help pop the breast from the thoracic arch and from the back breast as well. Let's deal a little bit with the head. Again, head construction to come. But I have my center line, I have my eye level, and now I can use it to indicate my facial features. By the way, for smaller detail, it might even be better to switch to your writer's script. You might not get quite the same degree of line variation, but I find that you have a little bit more control over fine motor movements when you use your writer's grip. So feel free to switch grips. No big deal. But for these large curves, your thumb and forefinger grip and engaging your entire shoulder will be better. So you can see with the writer's grip, I can still use my entire arm, but you can't help create small, hairier lines. Even I'm doing it. Right? What else can I tell you? Again, this is still an incomplete drawing. I need to put value in, but I think you guys have the right idea, or at least have some idea what I'm talking about when we're dealing with the rules of line. And again, these rules can be adjusted after the fact. I didn't do this side. Let me do this side really quickly. So we have the forms here. Everything curves out. I'm paying attention to the asymmetry. So I was about to draw a sausage shape here. Let's take a look. Okay, so it bulges a little bit more on this side. And on this side we have a curve going in, like that, and then another little curve going out this way, and then I'm going to push this line a little bit to get it to come forward, like this. I was saying that you can adjust these lines after the fact. We can do that. So for instance here, where I made a connection between this leg and this leg, you can always fade the line out. But try to do this all at once, and little by little you'll start getting a larger percentage of these rules. So we can lighten some of the line quality here, especially here, going back in space. Right, you can see it increases the illusion of depth tremendously, even more than I'm seeing in the original image. Again, the difficulty working photographs is that they have a flattening effect, which is why I don't recommend copying photographs when you first start drawing. However, since we have no choice, one of the lessons is that since photographs simplify value, since photographs flatten out the sense of space, it's going to be up to you as the artist to reinforce the sense of depth that the photograph is leaving out, is simplifying, is missing a little bit. Okay, I'm going to conclude this demo. I'm going to include some samples, probably slightly better than these, and hopefully you have the right idea.